Guys, welcome back to Chinese TCG Store. Today I have another market watch for you. I apologize for being gone for a while, but been pretty busy. But I am happy to be back, and it's a good time to be back considering we have a lot of new product and a completely different meta from the last time I filmed a video, which wasn't that long ago. It was like a week ago, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and get into it. So first, I wanted to take a look at Magnificent Mavens, look at the prices, and kind of point out some cards I think that are good pickups now, and then maybe some to watch for later. So the display boxes are going for around 100, not too bad. Again, I've already stated previously my opinion on buying this sealed. I don't think it's great, but it's not bad either. It's definitely not the worst product. There's some definitely good reprints in here. But I think this set is wonderful for buying singles. So Calbeck at 1069, not too bad. I did order my playset. I picked up the entire package. I do want to test it out with some different decks, kind of see what I can do with it. And I actually slowly but surely have just kind of been building a core for Tearlaments. And I'll be honest with you, when Tearlaments first came out, and for a while, I just never really liked the deck. I Not that it's not a great deck; it's obviously the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. But the play style of it wasn't really for me. But since we got the Shizu stuff, I've been kind of playing around with it online, and I actually really enjoy the deck. It's pretty cool. It is pretty funky. You got like crazy chain links going on. And playing in person, I imagine probably can get pretty chaotic with kind of cards spread out everywhere. I saw some videos from the YCS over the weekend, and it did kind of look like complete chaos, to be honest. But I'm sure you get used to that as you play with it. It's definitely not the easiest deck to learn. It's not like, say, something like Dragon Link, where there's a set combo or set list of combos that you can do. So once you learn those, you're good to go. Like this deck, you're always going to have to adapt. You're never going to have a combo that's the exact same as your last turn or your last game. Like it pretty much is always going to differ, which is a cool thing, but also can be a challenging thing to get over, especially for new players. This is not the deck to play if you are a new player. Just putting that out there. And even if you are an experienced player, you're gonna have to dedicate a lot of time to learning this deck, like lots and lots of play testing. So keep that in mind. If this was a deck that you were looking at, I would definitely suggest go play it online first, and see if you like it, see if it kind of makes sense to you before you go pick up the cards, because it's definitely not an easy deck to learn. It's easier than, say, Pendulum, like some of the Pendulum decks, like DDD. Like DDD, I would say is probably one of the hardest that we've had in the last few years to play. But even the new Draco Slayer is not that straightforward. But that deck is insane. I did play that this weekend. Not play it. I played against it. But yeah, definitely up there as one of the tougher decks to play right now. Talents at $10 is crazy. I never thought I'd see a Talents at $10. At least right now, I figured it'd be at least another year down the road before we start seeing more regular reprints. But I'm definitely happy that we do have this reprints. It's good for budget players, or people that are maybe not all the way on budget, but they just want to start building like I guess let's say a binder of staples, which is something I do whenever I can, is pick up as many staples as possible, kind of fill up my binder. One, they're always a good investment for the most part, but B, it's just nice to have access to those cards whenever you're building a deck, because I'm constantly changing what staples I'm putting in my deck, and it also depends on what deck you want to play. Some are better than others in different decks. But yeah, if you are a player, I would suggest building a staples binder. It's just really helpful for whenever you want to switch up your strategy or play a different deck, or the meta's changing, so you need to play a different tech card. It's nice to have access to those and not have to always wait a week or two for your cards to come in to order every time that you need to get a new staple. Boxes are around 22, which is up. I think they were down towards like 19 or 20 at one point. But again, I would stay away from it. Surprisingly, I went to locals on Friday, which was day one for Mavens, and they were completely sold out by 6 p.m., which was like an hour and a half before the event even started, which was crazy to me. But I also get it because they're quite a quite a few tier players at my local, so I think people were just buying as many boxes as possible to have access to the Ishizu cards. Evenly matched at $12 here. I think it's pretty funny that they can reprint this card into the ground, and it just always stays above $10. I think at one point it was 7 when I said to go ahead and pick them up, but I don't think it was ever 7 on TCG Player. I think that was on one of the pre-sales that Gamer's Choice did. Not bad though. If you need them, I would go ahead and pick them up. I wouldn't go crazy and investing into this card though yet. If you're like wanting to pick up or invest into multiple play sets of evenly matched for the long term, I wouldn't do that yet. This could still come back down to under $10, but 12 is not bad if you need the card. I would also take a look at the secret rares though, because those did come down in price. I think the original prints are still up quite a bit, but the reprints are down towards like $24, I believe, which is definitely not bad at all. So that's another option if you are looking to invest long term. Lightning Storm at $8, pretty good, but you can get the reprint secret rares for 12. So I would advise going with the secret rares over this. Personally, I think the original prints are still quite expensive, but that's to be expected. Agito is going for $6.75. I think these are kind of, they're lower than a lot of people expected, including me. I didn't expect these to hold the price, the $200 per core price, but this is lower than I expected. But to be honest, if they're not more expensive than they are now, I don't think they're going to go up. It's no secret that Tier is the best deck, so people aren't going to start panic buying all of a sudden in a week or two. I think people are definitely already buying, so I just don't see the price going up much more than it already is. And there's 187 listings here, so I mean, there's plenty of this on the market. Infinite Impermanence at $7. Again, that's pretty good price. A lot of good staples in here for really cheap. I would definitely keep your eye on these cards, like especially like these Infinite Impermanence, stuff like that, like evenly matched. If you can get these for, maybe $5-6 a piece. I guess evenly matched probably not going to be $5 or $6, but even that, like if you can get those for like $9, that's really good. For Infinite Impermanence, I would keep your eye on this card, and if it does go towards like 5 or under, definitely start picking up a couple of play sets. But yeah, I wouldn't go too crazy yet. Let's just wait and see what happens at this point. But if you need your play set, really fair price for $7. Linkage at $4.69. This card's pretty good, but it's also going to depend on if Sky Striker does well, if this card will do anything. And unfortunately, right now, there's just nothing that can come close to competing with Tearlaments, except for Flunderies, kind of, and maybe Sprite. But for the most part, it's just going to be a Tearlaments dominated meta for a while, at least until Cashier comes out, like the rest of the support. Keldo's at $4. It's a little weird. I guess people play different ratios, but from what I've seen, a lot of people are playing, 2 or 3 of these, and 2 or 3 of the Agitos, and 3 for the Kalebecks. So it's weird that they have different prices, but I guess they probably have maybe different pull rates. I don't think everybody's playing 3 copies of this, though. I think you could definitely get away with playing 1 or 2. I would personally play like maybe 2 of these. And it's also an option to side additional copies, because depending on what you're playing, if you're playing a graveyard heavy deck, it's actually underrated in power level, that card and Medora, because you can shuffle back 3 cards from either graveyard into the deck. So even if you're playing mirror matches against another Tearlaments player, it's really, really good. $3 on Medoras, I think that's fair. I don't think it's going to go up or down from here, really. Skill drains at $3.89. Or actually, they're more towards like $5. I would skip getting this and just go get the dual terminal reprint from Hidden Arsenal, because those are also in similar price range, and I think those look quite nice. But up to you. Blackluster Soldier, $4 here. Also a good penny stock, but I kind of want to personally wait and see if this goes lower. I don't think people are going to be buying this up necessarily, so we'll see. Appaloosa, I think the best penny stock from this set. I could easily see this card going back towards $12 to $15 over time. A lot of people do like this alternate art version of it, but people just hate gold rares, so that's why the gold rare never really took off. But I think even the gold rare was up towards $20 at one point. So keep your eye on this card. Definitely, I would say get a playset at least. Feather Duster. I personally like the other artwork, but a lot of people like this. I think it's kind of like a 50-50 split on what people like. But 350 for a ultra rare Heartbeat Feather Duster is pretty good here. This is, as long as this card's legal, it's going to be a staple in the game. I pretty much never have this card out of my side deck. Like, it's always in my side deck, pretty much. And it would take a pretty monster dominant meta to really change that for me. Even though that's kind of how it is right now, we don't really see that many spell and trap decks. It's still worth playing right now in the side deck, at least. As far as the Sword Soul cards, I'm not going to talk about these individually, but I would go look at the originals and, you know, kind of compare pricing. But I think this is a good core to have. And if you're a new player, this is also a great deck to learn because it's probably one of the easiest decks to learn. You're not going to compete against Tearlament, and you're probably not going to compete very well against Sprite either right now, but it can do really good against a lot of other decks. I would put Sword Soul as like a solid tier 2 deck. But it's also really fun. But right now you can build this deck so cheap that it's worth having. And yeah, I think it's also just a pretty good budget option right now. As far as investing into, I think we could see these prices go lower over the next few months. So if you're wanting to invest into the core in hopes that there might be some future support, I would maybe wait and see where the prices go. Actually, what we'll do is I'll look through a couple more cards and then I'll click on to see what the secret rare Moyes are doing right now. Change of Hearts, you know, $1.70, pretty good. Ice Dragons at $1.70, not bad. Goza matches are also really good to pick up as well. I'm not going to go into, I think, any of the other cards. They're all like dollars, but if you see anything that is a pretty good staple, you know, it's always good to pick up, have extras. Let's click into Sword Soul. Oh, yeah. Secret rares are going for $13, so that's pretty good, honestly. So if you're wanting to pick those up, you can get them now or wait a little bit. It might go a little bit lower towards maybe between 7 and 10, but we'll have to see. Besides that, I guess for the Maven set, for the actual like ultra and secret rare Pharaoh's rares, if you want to know whether to pick those up or not, I think it's a hard pass for me personally. I think a lot of the cards have high rarity printings already, like whether it be ultimate rare or collector's rare. I don't know. Maybe some of them have collector's rares. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know quite a few of them have ultimate rare printings. I would stay clear from the Pharaoh's rares for now. Not that I don't think they look good. I think they look okay, but I think for the price, it's just not worth it. You're much better off to go get the like original ultimate rares, depending on which card. Some of them might not have that. But regardless if they have a higher rarity printing at all, I would just stay clear of them for now. I think that they will continue to fall out in price. They're just not worth the price, like whatsoever. Like I guess some of them too, they have Starlight rares. Like I know Talents has Starlight rares. I can't remember which other ones are in there, but they're all like a lot of them are over $100, which is just ridiculous. I was hoping that they would be cheaper, like and a little bit more easy to pull, like be in the $30 to $50 range a piece, but they're not. So to me, I'm gonna pass on that. But I think that they will fall out in price, much like we saw the ones from King's Court continue to fall out in price over time. Moving on, I wanted to look at the Heralds, kind of see what they're doing in price now that they are, you know, kind of seeing play. At least Herald Orange Light is seeing play. 160 lowest, and there's only 20 listings here. No surprise. These have been going between like 150 and 170 for a while now. People knew that this card was going to see play, but this card's absolutely ridiculous right now for its use of Tearlaments. I actually really do like this ultimate rare too. I've always wanted one, and I always tell myself I'm going to pick them up when they go below 100, but then I always forget to go pick them up until I see that they're bought out again. Herald of Purple-Light, these are going for 21 for unlimited, but that is, not verified. And then 32 for lightly played first edition. But they're saying lightly played / moderately played, and then going up towards like $35. Well, I do think this ultimate rare looks really good. I don't think it's a very good option right now. I mean, potentially you could side this in against like maybe evenly matched if you keep getting hit with it, like maybe have this in your side deck if you're playing Ishizu Tearlaments, but probably not. I would probably stay away from that. Herald of the Green Light, though, I think is a better option. I actually have been testing this out in the side deck, but I think I put like 2 copies in the side deck and 1 in the main deck. And surprisingly, it does come up like quite a bit. Because depending on what deck you're playing, if they're playing like a spell heavy deck, but maybe not so monster heavy, like this can be a really good card to play versus like Herald of the Orange Light. But if I had to go with one in the main deck, it would of course be Herald of the Orange Light with this meta, especially with mirror matches. But yeah, these might even be just good long term to have anyways, because they are from Enemy of Justice. But these are sweet looking ultimate rares. And besides that, maybe if you're trying out the deck, maybe try out Herald of the Green Light. It's pretty cool. Purple Light still is an option, because you do have like Eldlik and maybe Labyrinth out there. But yeah, just something to think about. Diviner the Herald for the secret rares are going for 22. No surprise. I think the prismatic secret rares are actually down a little bit in price, which is surprising to me. I would have figured they'd be skyrocketing by now. And these super rares from the OTS pack are going for around 16 to 17. There's one light play here for 14, but these have been, bought out since they came out pretty much. I think when they were around 10 to 11 initially, this is one of the cards that said to go ahead and pick up. And if you did, you did pretty well because they are, quickly going up to 20 range. We'll go ahead and check, but I think they kind of bottom out towards 20 on the first page. Around 18. But yeah, I need to grab these. I just not looking forward to it. I actually didn't follow my own advice and pick these up when they were 10 or 11. I just kind of forgot to, since I was busy this last week. Next is Starliege Safer. So I was looking at this earlier, and at first I thought the price was just kind of the same as it has been, but it's actually gotten a lot more expensive when you look at the first editions. So for some ungodly reason, this says the last 4 sales were for $220, which I just can't fathom. I'm not sure what that's about, but I guess okay. Starts off here at $18.50 for Unlim. And then you do have one lightly played for 23 roughly, with the $2 shipping there. And then on the second page, you can see that there's one for 32, and then the near mint first edition is $34. So if you pick these up, when I talked about them, I would go ahead and offload them, especially if you have the commons, or if you don't have the commons, just order them if you still want to play Dragon Link. I personally am struggling to want to get rid of these. I really like these a lot, but we're getting to the point where I think it's worth just getting rid of. But if you aren't playing Dragon Link, for sure get rid of this. There's no reason to hold on to it beyond this point, because I don't think Dragon Link is really going to break itself out of the tier 2 status right now. There's just not really a tier 1, really, because it's pretty much Tearlament or bust at this point. I mean, Sprite and Flundries kind of snuck into the took a couple of the top 32, but I mean, it was the top 32 was like 78% or 76% Ishizu Tearlament, which is absolutely insane. And that by the statistics, or I guess the generally accepted tier 0 term, is tier 0. I always thought that 50% was tier 0, but some people have recently said that it's 65%. But regardless, it's blown both of those numbers out of the water. So I guess we'll have to see if they can continue to do so. But crazy to see. This is actually one of the, I think maybe the only time in the last year or so where something that was tier 0 in the OCG actually transferred over here. Because I remember they were saying Sprite was going to be, or Sprite was tier 0 in the OCG, and they're like, that's going to be the next tier 0 deck in the TCG, and that just never really happened. They were a dominant deck for a while, but Tearlaments did pretty well against them, and we did see a lot more a lot of other decks do well against them. I think at the time before the last ban list, like Punk was doing pretty well. Dragon Link got a couple of sneak tops. Of course, Branded Despia was still pretty good, but it's kind of just pushed all these decks down. Next, I wanted to take a look at the 2022 tens, see where we're at here. Prosperity's at 37.40, which is pretty good. Hopefully you didn't spend $50 on this card. I kind of figured this card would come back down in price. So I actually picked up my original prints when I did buy these like a month ago. So not sure what those are going for, but I think at the time these were going for like 48 to 50 still. And I think I spent maybe like 55 or 60 or something on the original prints. But I'm okay with that. I'm going to keep that card for pretty much ever. Forbidden Droplet at 23.50. About the same as it has been. Dark Magician Girl falling out pretty hard here. It was at 30 at one point. Now it's 17. Wouldn't be surprised if this card falls more. We've kind of seen this with some of the other old DM/Blue Eyes era cards where they, it's a new version or a new printing or new rarity at first, and they go up super high in price right on release, and then they kind of just phase out because, you have a lot of collectors out there, but they're not going to sustain the market by themselves. You need the competitive players that are constantly picking up the cards. And of course, Dark Magician Girl is just not competitive. You need the competitive side of the market to really kind of hold up the price. And we're just not seeing that happen. I don't currently have this card. I would like one, but again, I would like only care to spend like $10 on this card personally. So that's where I'm at on that. Like I said, Lightning Storm's going for 12.70. Pretty good. This is definitely the version to get if you wanted to get Lightning Storm right now, other than the original print or the Starlight Rare. Starlight Rare is fine as well. Blue Eyes at $13. I remember this was up towards 20 as well. Diviner the Herald at 12. I still think this card is going to do well, if not now, long term. So I still think it's worth it to grab these if you haven't already. Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring at 9.50. I did not think that they would get this low, but I mean, it's a pretty good opportunity if you want to get a playset here for under $10 a copy. That's really, really good. These look amazing, by the way. If you don't have these, I think they look pretty good. I think the original print, in my opinion, looks the best. But for paying like what is it, like 1/7 or 1/5 the cost, I think it's definitely worth it just to get these. Somehow, Dark Dragoon is still $10. You can buy these if you want to. It's going to be a very slow burn on this card. It will probably eventually go back up. But I don't think it'll be above 20 anytime, like in the next 3 or 4 years, probably. But I guess it also depends like what decks we have come out and what could maybe sneak this out. I know at one point you could use Branded Fusion to get this card out, and you still can, but it's just not the best way to play that deck, of course. But we'll have to see what this card does. I would still recommend having a copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, whether that's the original print or getting this print, which is also, I think, pretty good. Starlight Rare, I think, is really, really good if you want to fork over the money for it, but that's going to be up to you. It's going to be sitting for a while. It's not going to be a quick move. Crossout Designators at $6. I think that these are hideous. I think that the ultra rares look a lot better just for this card specifically. For whatever reason, this artwork just doesn't work out with Prismatic Secret Rare. Alibur's at $4. I would much rather have the original print, which I do, but I do have both. I actually have all three, I guess. I do have the ultra rares, the original print, and I guess these now since I opened the tens. I just haven't like really cared to sell them yet. I figure I'd just hold on to them, see what they do, but I might sell them at some point soon. Branded opening at $4. Looks like most of this back here hasn't changed. Phoenix Enforcer, I would still have these, like either this or the original print. Starlight Rares are kind of expensive. Like I probably wouldn't do it. It's not really worth it unless you want to hold on to it for a few years. But I think Phoenix Enforcer is pretty good to hold. Like, anyways, you can still search like Fusion Destiny, and you have Fusion Destiny at 3 copies. And they just announced a Fusion Destiny reprint and Secret Rare for the Battles of Legend set, so it's going to make that card a lot cheaper. It could transfer some of that value back to this card, but we'll have to see. Like I said, early on this set, Small World, really good, especially when it's sub $3. But yeah, there's lots of good cards in here to keep your eye on, especially since they're falling in price. As we get farther and farther out, there is a turnaround point, but a lot of these card prices will continue to fall. Some will go up. There'll be sporadic value for sure. So just keep your eye on this set. It's always good to look back at these, heavy reprint sets and see if you can find some good deals. Next, I wanted to just look at Draco Berserker of the Tinny. For whatever reason, this card is up quite a bit in price. I actually have the secret rare that I was playing in Dragon Link, or at least testing in Dragon Link to kind of have some generic level 8 secret monster to replace Chaos Ruler. I think I still have it in my deck, and I do summon it occasionally. It's not a bad card at all. But if you have extra copies of this, you might want to get rid of it. There's not really a real point in hanging on to this. This could get reprinted at any time, especially since they've already kind of reprinted it and got their money value out of it. F-Zero, we did get the reprint announcement for, I think it's in Secret Rare in the Battles of Legend set. So if you have these, I think at this point they've kind of fallen out enough. I still have mine. I'm not going to get rid of it at this point. But yeah, if you want to get rid of it and just pick up the secret rare, I think this price will probably continue to fall from here. The collector's rares are at like 65 to like 70, somewhere between there. Those are pretty good to buy if you want to play this card now, because they are going to hold their value, whereas this card probably, this version won't. I think that was pretty much it. Okay, yeah, here's the collector rare at 67. Not bad at all. It's fallen quite a bit. Next is Neko Main King. I think I'm saying that right. This is a pretty cute card. I actually have one that I pulled in a OTS pack over the weekend. But if you're tired of Tearlaments players, like, this is a pretty funny card to play, because when it's sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, it immediately goes to the end phase. So say, for example, you have this card in your deck and they're going off, they're milling all these cards off the Ishizu. If they mill this to the graveyard, it just goes straight to the end phase, so they don't really get to make any plays. If they're going second, they can't go to battle. So pretty hilarious, actually. But at $3, I don't think it's that good, really. If you have these, maybe get rid of them, or if you just want to, kind of screw around at locals, it is pretty funny. Up to you. These have been getting bought out for a while, or not bought out, but kind of bought up for a while now. Since Mavens came out, I guess, for like, well, before then, more people were speculating, but like maybe a week or two. Access code down to $30 for the gold rares. We are getting a secret rare reprint as well as a Starlight rare reprint, all in Battles of Legend. The Starlight rare is going to be really, really cool, I think, but it's going to be pricey for sure. I pulled this up because if you have the gold rare, I would get rid of it as soon as possible, like yesterday. It's because I do think that the reprint will probably be around the $30 range. And there's no reason to have a gold rare when you get a secret rare for around the same price. The original print is around, I think, 55 to 60. We'll check here. It's $60, which is pretty good. If you have the original print, I would get rid of it. It probably won't lose much value. It'll maybe go down towards like 49 or 50, depending on short prints. Because it is a side set, so there could be short prints in it for sure. So I would not fire sell the secret rare, is what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, I honestly could see a similar situation with, what happened with Forbidden Droplet. It was super short printed in last year's Battles of Legend set, and it was $100 card when it got reprinted, which is crazy. I don't think this is going to go back to $100 because, obviously Forbidden Droplet was seeing a lot of play at the time, and you play it at 3 copies. You're only playing 1 copy of this, but I could see this holding on to the 50 to 55 range, and maybe the reprint being around 35 to 40. Next, I wanted to kind of take a look at Bystials. So the Magnumets are going for $16 to $18 here. Not surprising. I am glad I picked mine up when they were $5, but if you think about it, it's not like the first time this has happened in recent history. If you look back at Dawn of Majesty, the branded opening supers were going for, I think at one point all the way up towards $35, which is absolutely insane. Do I think that can happen with this card? Maybe not to $35, but I could see this card continuing to just kind of slowly inch its way up. It's just a really, really good card. In my opinion, probably the best card out of Darkwing Blast. The Bystial Rebellion is pretty good too, but I mean, being able to DD Pro your opponent and then also search, Druid's Worm at the end phase is just absolutely nuts. So when I was coming through earlier, I saw Druid's Worm was at $10. I actually didn't realize that. The last time I looked at this card, it was probably $3. So pretty insane to see, but makes sense. A lot of people have cut their Saronniers and they're playing just 3 Druid Swarms instead of playing like 2 and 2. So sometimes we'll see people playing maybe 3 of these and 1 of these, depending on what deck. If you're playing like Branded or Dragon Link, you're going to be maximizing, so 2 and 2. But if you're playing this as a package, like in Sprite or Tearlaments, you're probably playing 3 Magnumets and maybe 1 or 2 Druid Swarms. But yeah, I kind of don't see these prices going anywhere. As far as the Saronnier, yeah, $1 seems about fair because it's not seeing play in a lot of decks, and the decks that it is seeing play in is 2 copies max, but a lot of decks maybe just 1 copy. And Avalos is a joke. No one's really playing this card. Next is Sage de Fleur from Legendary Duelist Synchro Storm. I wanted to pull this card up because it's going for 10 cents up to, I guess, 25 cents, and that's free shipping, if assuming that you have the TCG Player Direct. But I think that's entirely too cheap for this card. Well, for one, it's out of a Legendary Duelist set, but it's an ultra rare. It's kind of hard to pull, obviously, because I think you get 4 to 5 ultra rares per box, and the box is going for like, I guess, $35 now. But the only value in the entire set is pretty much just your Baron de Fleur. Everything else is under $1 at this point, I think, for the most part. But if you haven't read this card, basically what it does, you can target 1 monster you control and just 1 card on the field in general. It doesn't matter if it's your opponent's or yours. You special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, destroy those cards that you targeted. And that's pretty much the relevant part of this. It's a disruption if you're going second, or potentially help your combo if you want your cards destroyed. And then also for level 8 decks, it's a level 8 dark, so it's pretty generic in that regards. I think it's level 8. Yeah, it's level 8. But the other effect is if this card is sent from the field to your graveyard, you can target 1 other monster in the graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and then add a level 1 plant monster. That's not really relevant. Like, there's probably some plant decks maybe that you could use that effect, but for the most part, it's just an extender. That's pretty cool. And I'm sure there's decks out there that want their cards destroyed where that could be a pretty relevant effect. But yeah, I just think it's worth picking up. It's cool artwork too. And for 25 cents, I mean, what do you have to lose? Next, we're going to look at Hidden Arsenal, because I've seen a couple of cards go up quite a bit in price recently. I think a lot of it is Naturia based, like with the Vernus Sith cards, I believe. Kind of like the Earth archetype that's been coming out. I think started off in Power of the Elements, and then I think it continued in Darkwing Blast. Skill drains here at $3.30 and $4 here, which is actually cheaper than the reprint ultra rare. I would definitely suggest getting these. They weren't that easy to get out of this set. They weren't short printed by any means, but they definitely weren't overprinted either. I think if I was going to pick up a version of Skill Drain, it would be this one for sure. Lava Golem at 560. This card's pretty good as well. I would rather play this than Spheres personally, but it's up to individual play styles and what deck you're playing. But this card looks amazing. I actually do have a play set myself. But as far as price, I don't know that it's going to hold on to this price. It also kind of just depends on play over time. This card definitely has cycled in to play, like I guess this last year. But before then, it wasn't seeing much play, if any at all. So we could definitely go through a cycle like that again. But 560 is not bad. I'm just trying to look for cards that are up a lot in price, because if you're like me who opened up a few boxes of this for fun and you lost big, you might want to make some of your money back. So definitely want to point those out where I can. Wabaku is randomly $3, but I don't think this card has that many reprints, to be honest. Our first one here is Naturia Sunflower, and it's lowest at $6 here, or $5.50 really. I would get rid of these if you have them and you're not playing the Naturia or Earth deck, I guess you would call it. We'll see if there's any others. I think last week a lot of these cards went up quite a bit in price from what I was seeing, and they might have kind of calmed back down by now. Let's see. Rose Whip at $1.50. I know I have some of these too in my bulk binders. Fabled Cerebral. I know I have this one as well. I did not know this was up to $5, but it's down to 5 listings. So something to pull out of your bulk if you have it. I believe this is just a common. Yeah, it's just a common. Naturia Stink Bug at $5.50 again. That's pretty crazy to see. Actually, a lot of the dual terminal commons are more expensive than the ultra rares because they're really hard to get out of this set. There's just so many of them. I think there's like probably at least 60 or so like common variations with, I think every common in this set also for the most part comes as a dual terminal common, from what I remember. But yeah, they're hard to get because you only get 1 per pack, or maybe 1 or 2 per pack, something like that. I can't remember, so I probably shouldn't even talk about it. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, like pretty much with all these dual terminal commons, like they're all pretty much under 30 listings. Dust Tornado here is $1.50 going up to $2. Great go staple. Let's see if there's any other crazy commons. A lot of these got bought out recently too. That's why their market price hasn't really caught up. The Cherry Beast, I still think, I mean, this is a good long-term pickup. You might want to pick these up, especially since it's Earth. This potentially could see play in some of these Earth decks that people are kind of running around with. I still think that Alley of Justice Cycle Reader is still a good pickup. These are some of the cards I talked about a while ago when the set first came out. Formula Synchron too. Keeping this sealed for $1.50 is pretty good. Goyo Guardian, for whatever ungodly reason, is almost $2. Enemy Controllers $1.50. This makes sense to me though. Like, this card's pretty good and it's good in past formats as well. The regular common Fabled Cerebral is around 50 cents. So it's just the dual terminal one that's up quite a bit, or dual terminal-ish technology, they call it. I think that should be it for the most part. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on some of these commons that are like in the dual terminal technology. Like if you open this set at all, they're definitely up quite a bit in price. Weirdly, the Naturia Sunflower common, like not even dual terminal, is, if you look here, $4 lowest if you factor in shipping. Only 8 listings. I keep saying that's it, and then I keep finding more. Okay, that should be it for real this time. But one more card that I wanted to point out here is Power Tool Dragon. I think having a couple of these, like I said, when the set came out, is pretty good. This card looks absolutely amazing if you have it. But there's a couple copies here under $1. I would look into it if you haven't already. Next is Dagaria. So this is a card I talked about getting for, I think it was like 60 cents at one point from Ghost from the Past 2. They're up to $3+ pretty much. If you have these, you might want to offload some, make some of your money back, maybe put that towards something else. But I would still hold on to some. I wouldn't sell all of them in one go, but I just wanted to point that out. Silent Graveyard is one of the cards that's getting some attention right now. The only has 2 printings, except for the original print, which is called something different. I can't remember what it's called. But I think it's called Forbidden Graveyard or something like that. I can't remember. But the ultra rares from Dual Devastator are going for $3. If you have some of these laying around, if you opened a bunch of Dual Devastator, you might want to offload them. This card does just get some attention for like every once in a while. But I definitely have quite a few of these. I'll always keep a play set just because you never know. This might be even a card that I want to test out this format. I haven't really decided yet on my builds. I'm still kind of watching and waiting and seeing what Tearlaments are doing and what the best counter strategies are. Okay, next I wanted to look at some of the legendary duelist sets because we are seeing a lot of reprints for these sets right now. And, you know, the set Mavens that just came out, and I think some as well in the Battles of Legend set. But I'm not going to look at sealed. I'm just going to look at some of the singles. The first single that I have for you is Millennium Eyes Restrict. These are going for $3.50 now. If you remember, this was up towards $50-$60 at one point, which is absolutely crazy. I would go back in and pick these up right now. These look absolutely amazing. I miss mine. I sold mine when they were like 40. I think I sold it for like $45 or something. But I definitely want it back. So I'm definitely going to pick mine back up. And I'll probably even get a playset maybe. But I'll probably pick up a couple and then wait to see if the prices go down lower to get more. I think that's the only one that got a reprint in this set. Oh yeah, I wanted to point this out too. Red Eyes Insight Common is going for $3.50 lowest. I mean, and the market price is showing at $5. If you have these, you know, get some free money off of it. I definitely have a few of these because I remember when the set came out, I opened like probably 3 or 4 boxes, and I probably have a playset at least. But yeah, free money if you didn't know about it. Next is Legendary Season 2. Bingo Machingo. I would definitely keep an eye on this card. It's not getting reprinted, I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not getting reprinted as far as I know. But this card kind of fluctuates between like the $15 range, and I've seen it go as high as 30 to 35. So you might want to keep your eye on this card. And if you find some like kind of for sale copies coming online, we'll see what the price is right now. I would recommend picking them up. This card is gorgeous, by the way, and I need to get mine back. I originally bought them when they were like $8 or $9 and then sold them when they were like 25 or something. So lowest here for near mint is $17.49. I think that's a pretty good price. You might want to snag those. And Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon is getting reprinted. This was quite expensive. I think 25 to 30 bucks at one point. It's down to 15. I would keep waiting on this though. Wait for this to come down lower. Galaxy Eyes Afterglow is down towards 9, but again, I don't think we get this reprint until Crystal Beast or the Crystal Revenge. I think we might have it now, but I can't remember. But both of these are good cards to keep an eye on, see if they dip really hard. I really like this card, but probably won't see value out of this card for a long time, but it's not a bad card to hold on to. Photon Orbital, surprisingly, this card's up towards $9 now and kind of bottoming out towards 10. I picked these up. I got a playset of these for $3 a piece, I think, just because I always really liked this character from, you know, the anime. But yeah, it's nice to see a nice little return on this. I have held it for about 2 years at this point, I think. I think it's been about, well, maybe a year and a half, 2 years. I can't remember how long ago this set came out, but I got it pretty much on release for my collection. But yeah, if you just have these for an investment as well and you don't really care to keep them, you know, you get $8-9 out of them. There's some other value in this set too, like the Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, which I think I have one of these as well. I might want to get rid of. I've never been like the Blue Eyes collector per se. So whenever I have some of these cards that go up in value, I just kind of get rid of them. We'll see what else is in this set, and then we'll move on. I know it's been kind of a long market watch, so we'll wrap up here in a minute. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all in this set as far as I can see here. I still think Garden Rosemaiden is good, although it's definitely hurt by the fact that we don't have Halq Fibrax anymore. But this card's not unplayable for sure. It depends on what you're playing. But if you're playing the Stardust Synchro build that came out with Dawn of Majesty, this card's still really, really good. But yeah, don't sleep on this card. Definitely, I would still have your copies. And I think that's about it. Also, these Harpy Featherstorm commons are still $5 or so. If you still have these, I would get rid of them because this card could get banned fairly soon. But yeah, that's all the cards I wanted to go over in this set. The last card, I guess, is Tour Guide from the Underworld. So I look at this card from time to time because I really want them collection-wise, and also I'm a big Phantom Knight player, or fan, I guess. I haven't played Phantom Knights in a while, but I still have my deck put together. And the last time I looked, this card was at 350, which was about 3 months ago. Still had the 345 market price. And these are down a lot right now. Near mints are going for 240 for English, and there's play sets available at that price. So if this is one of the cards that you've been looking to invest quite a bit of cash into, but you've just been waiting for the right price, I think now is a great time to do it. If you wanted to save a little bit of money, another option is getting Germans, which I think if I was going to get a foreign version of this card, German would be the only other option for me personally. And those are going for 217, which is pretty good. If you haven't seen the Germans, this is what they look like. Pretty good looking card. This card looks amazing though, especially in person. But that is going to be all for today. I did not do the spreadsheet today. We'll do it on the next one, but I started filming and then kind of remembered I should have done that. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you again soon with another market watch. But let me know if there's any cards you guys want to check out. And let me know what decks you're excited to play this format. Me personally, I am going to be playing Dragon Link. But I do have tier kind of building as an option. I think once I get all my cards in, I'll have pretty much everything except for the field spell, which I am not looking forward to picking up. But I'll continue testing that deck and see if it's going to be worth it really to pick that up. Also kind of scared for a ban list on that deck because I don't think it's going to make it unscathed through the next ban list. But that's just me personally. But thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.